For our reading for the weekend, we have a good number of cups on the table. We have a lot of energy in water signs right now, and of course we just had the lunar eclipse last night in Scorpio. We also have right now Mars over in Cancer, and of course we have Saturn in the beginning degrees of Pisces, the South Node in Scorpio, and the North Node in Taurus. So there is this help in a lot of ways. As much as these are intense times, there's something being turned over and brought to the surface that we need to work with and heal. Now, our opening energy for today is the Ace of Swords. So a lot of clarity coming in, possibly even a conversation that comes in to clarify some things. When we consider a single sword, it can cut through clouds. It can also be kind of stabbing, and the Ace of Swords is related to our mind, communications, conversations, and the way that we see things and speak about things. So having the opening energy of the Ace of Swords is revealing and telling in a lot of ways. Now, it's also asking us what's being revealed toward us. The challenge that we have is the Hermit. Now, the Hermit is the only major arcana that we have in our reading for this weekend, but the Hermit is related to some kind of isolation, and it's, you know, someone who's turning things over internally and trying to really think things through. And it's showing up as our challenge today, which, you know, typically when major arcana show up, they are some kind of life lesson. But when we look at the Hermit and what it's related to, astrologically, many people associate it with the sign of Virgo, which is governed by the planet of Mercury. It can also relate to Chiron. So when we look at those energies and what's going on with those right now, we have Venus up in Gemini, which of course is the sign that is also governed by the planet Mercury. And who's in Venus's house? Well, we have a lot of energy in Venus's house. So, you know, when you consider that, it's like the mind is turning over a lot of changing and a lot of turning points. And we really are at this turning point in life, because there is this expansion that is about to come into that area of Taurus by way of the constellation. So we have the sun up in Taurus. We have Mercury, which is retrograde in Taurus, which of course relates to this kind of internal contemplation, looking things over. We also have the North Node up in Taurus, and we're getting ready to have Jupiter go into Taurus, which will be bringing in a lot of expansion. And as I mentioned in the last reading, what's so pivotal about this is that, you know, despite Uranus, the planet, being in the sign of Taurus for the last couple of years, you know, it dipped in 2018, it went in full force in 2019. We haven't had Jupiter in this sign for the whole time that Uranus has been here. So Jupiter is going to be bringing in this energetic of expansion, and in some ways, for some people, a level of help. So why does the Hermit go to the mountain? You know, I reflect on this a lot because I have a Virgo rising, and I moved up to a small little mountain town a couple of years ago, and it was my line of Chiron in my astrocartography. So a lot of times people will go into a sense of isolation to heal something. And when we look at where Chiron is right now, it's in the sign of Aries, which is, you know, our sense of self and where we go to develop ourself. And a lot of times, right, we have to heal those wounds before we can really go out and be in the world and really shine our light. But the Hermit is up on top of the mountain shining the light and lending that kind of energetic of healing space. But that's our challenge. The challenge is, you know, staying inward. So the way out of the challenge came in as the Two of Cups. And this is where we start seeing all of the cups that are coming into the reading today. Now, in the Two of Cups, we see these two people that are in relationship. So there's some kind of exchange. There's something that's calling us off the mountain, you know, and perhaps we've been in this healing space so that we can actually be in a better exchange with other people in the world so that we can, you know, have something to offer by way of what we've healed and developed in ourselves. The Two of Cups is a true exchange. It would be considered a compatible relationship. It is also a space of reflection upon relationship and what it is perhaps that you feel called to have as a relationship and why you feel called to be in relationship. And I ask that because our ultimate outcome came in by way of the Nine of Cups, which is, you know, some kind of completion around things that have happened in the past, which is why I also mentioned that this is, you know, quite likely relating to Chiron and this eclipse energetic that we're all going through. And it's so key to remember that, like, the energies of the eclipse don't just happen on the day of the eclipse. They actually happen kind of like a ripple effect through time for the next 6 months or so, you know, when we will have the sun actually in the sign of Scorpio, and it'll be completing this cycle of the sun Taurus eclipse cycle. So there is this period right now of where we are, you know, letting go of things because the South Node is in Scorpio, and we're letting go of past hurts and past experiences, perhaps that, you know, have kept us on the mountain rather than in the world, because the clarity of that came in by way of the Ten of Cups, further clarified by the Ten of Pentacles. So I really do feel that the energy that we're all working with right now with, you know, Saturn over in Pisces, which is kind of asking us to have some sense of responsibility wherever Pisces is in your chart. And, you know, that trined with this energy over in Scorpio, which is asking us to let go of that, which, you know, perhaps in even our own behaviors and our own way of escaping in life, we have to transform, because Scorpio is a transformative energy, and the South Node is, oh, there's a hummingbird right over my head. I think they're upset that I'm sitting right underneath the feeder that I put out for them, but that was their little trill. But it's really asking us, you know, to reflect on what in our past we are trying to heal and what we have healed, so that we can really envision these Ten of Cups and these Ten of Pentacles, which is more of a crystallized view of what we really want to aspire and create in our lives, both in our relationships and also in our sense of material security. But part of that, you know, comes down to us coming to a new sense of responsibility and where we want to put our discipline and our effort, and where we want to take accountability for what we need to heal in ourselves. Hence this big energy in Scorpio that we are all going through. And also, you know, the mirroring energy over in Taurus that is, you know, asking us to build our foundation from our belief system that has been under this kind of transformative process for the last few years. If you are interested in a reading and having me look at your chart, please feel free to reach out to me at rootsofalchemy@gmail.com. I also have been a super busy cat making all kinds of lotions and face creams and art for upcoming festivals. I'm going to be at a number of them throughout the summer, and I am even planning to make a big old trek across the country to Illinois for a big festival out there at the end of the summer. So I'm just busy making a bunch of stuff and, you know, visiting with people who would like me to look at their readings or their astrology and also their cards. And then, of course, still teaching and driving around. So this transit of Mercury up in my 9th house is definitely calling me to task in regard to how I'm developing my business and what I offer out into the world. And I just want to thank you all and tell you that I appreciate you for supporting my efforts and encouraging me to keep going and letting me know that these readings are useful. I send a good wish to you. Bye for now.